Hey there, guys. I'm Bobby. This is Steph. We are Between Two Teeth. We have a very special guest today. We have Dr. Craig Armstrong, is a trustee with the American Dental Association. Craig, thank you so much for joining us. We are happy to have you here.
Shout out.
Shout out. That's right. We just got done doing a local mission trip in Bonham, Texas through the Texas Mission of Mercy. We were all there together. It
TDA
was
Smile
awesome.
Foundation.
We actually all got to work on a patient together, which was really a neat experience. And we're getting ready. Yeah. We're wearing these Ukraine mission shirts. Yeah. We're getting ready to go to Warsaw, Poland to treat Ukrainian citizens that have been moved out of Ukraine. And we're going to go over there and we're going to have an experience. We are so glad that you're joining. Why did you call us and say, I want to do this Poland Ukrainian mission? What was on your mind?
You know, it's funny. My first job in dentistry was with a dentist from Virginia named Terry Dickinson. And he was a dentist here in Texas before he went to Virginia. And he started the first Mission of Mercy. And I've done a ton of Mission of Mercy advance here in Texas. And to me, I told this to the students that I had interactions with yesterday. When you do that when you take one trip or do one trip and help out, it's contagious. I don't have to, if I can get you there once, I've got you hooked. And if you look at the people that go to those, there are a lot of the same people that have been doing it for years and years and years. So when I heard about the opportunity to go to Poland and do something international, one, it fit right in my wheelhouse. And I'll tell you one of the reasons. Last year, I'm chair of the ADA Foundation, and one of the things that we did last year is we gave some funds to the Ukrainian Dental Association to help them. And I got to meet some of those dentists in Geneva last year, and the gratitude that they had, they presented Dr. Sabatis, who was the president of the ADA at the time, with an award, the Order of Saint Apollonia, who's the patron saint of dentistry.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they gave me one on behalf of the foundation, which I presented to the foundation. But the gratitude that they had for what we were doing, this just seemed like it connected the dots for me to be able to go and in person, maybe in some small way. I mean, I'm just one person, and I'm certainly looking forward to whatever the challenges we have ahead to treat as many folks as we can in Poland. But I think that this just kind of comes full circle for me, and it kind of is in my DNA. And I think for me to be able to go and give something back, especially in light of what we did from the foundation standpoint, I think it just connects the dots, and it was a no-brainer. So this is, we're all busy, and to take the time out of our lives to do this. When I told my wife I was doing this, she goes like, "Oh my gosh, you don't have enough to do." And
You're kind of a busy guy.
I'm doing this. I've got one chance to do what I'm doing here in life, and I'm going to try to make a difference. And this is the way I think I can make a difference.
That is awesome. That is
awesome.
We should say it's through International Medical Relief, and we have sponsorship from the International College of Dentists through Global Visionary Fund. And Henry Schein Cares program that's helping us out.
One thing, that was a beautiful answer. One thing that stood out to me is we have a saying from our fishing trips in Alaska.
Do we?
Yes, we do. That it's not about the fish.
Oh, that's right.
And I love your perspective on this, Craig, because it is about the dentistry, but it's not about the dentistry. It's about what we stand for going over there. Yes. And like you've already said, we're there to be dentists, but we're also there to be humans. And see how we can help out as needed.
It's the conduit for us to do various things. It's not about the teeth. Between two teeth, it's not about the teeth. It's about that connection, discovery, and inspiration.
Yep. Well, I'm excited. I can't sleep at night thinking about it, trying to think about what we're going to be doing. And part of it's the unknown about, I've been to Europe. I lived in Europe for a long time, so I know Europe, but I have never been to Poland. And I'm looking forward to the interaction with a new group of people that I haven't met yet, and
different
trying
groups
to make
of
a
people.
difference.
We're taking, we've got some
that.
ADA people coming that are part of the ADA Wellness Initiative.
Yes.
We've got another staffer who's super creative with the ADA.
Yes.
We've got my 22-year-old son who's pre-dental and he's taking a
Nice.
gap year. So we're going to start the gap year off like this. So it's going to be awesome. I want to jump into some questions. We're going to do some rapid fire.
Go for
questions.
it. Yeah, ready.
Yeah. Don't you answer them. They're for Dr. Armstrong.
Okay.
Okay. Are you going to promise?
No.
And you could do rapid answer. You can even pass. He can pass, right? He can say, no, I don't want to answer that question. I refuse. We won't hold against you if you do that. Okay. When and where were you happiest?
You know, I'm happy most of the time. I think that my upbringing has made a tremendous impact on how I view happiness. We moved every 3 years. And so for me, I'm happy wherever I'm at. And luckily, I married somebody who wakes up with a smile on her face every day. So we are very happy on every day.
Man,
every day
awesome.
that we get to spend with each other, we're really happy. But I'm very adaptive. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, for me, having moved so much in my life, happiness is where you are at the time, and you make the most of it. So I can honestly say that there's not too many times that I am not happy. You know, I have bumps in the road just like we all do, but you know, big picture, I'm happy most all the time.
I love that. I love that outlook. That's a glass half full.
Well, it's also an adaptable outlook. That's the impressive.
You got to be adaptable.
That's the impressive part. Is I think a lot of times I get caught up in, if I'm not, I don't know. At least my 20-year-old self thought if I'm not in Dallas, then it's gonna be awful. But now, I mean, just kind of listening to your experiences, of course, happiness is where you are.
Yes.
Yep,
Good.
absolutely.
All right. What person, place, or experience has shaped you the most?
I think probably the experience that changed me the most is losing my dad when I started college. And the reason I can say that is because I went from I just turned 18. I went from being a kid to having to be a man. And my mom had never worked outside of the home. And so I had to leave school and deal with, you know, life insurance policies and handle, you know, mortgages and stuff like that, stuff that I really wasn't prepared for. And honestly, I'd never really experienced death. And so for me to have that all happen in my freshman year of school and then had to drop out of school, it really kind of defined who I am or was going to be, because as you probably can imagine, I'm sure that in some situations people would have responded differently to that situation, and then they would have never returned to school, or they would have, you know, they wouldn't have had the skills to help their mom and their younger brothers deal with the reality of what we were dealing with. But it really gave me a lot of tools, I think, to help me navigate through life later on. And I didn't know it at the time because I was angry. I mean, I was angry that my dad died. How could you do this to us? But I think I channeled that in a way that helped me because, you know, I was able to continue my undergraduate education. I did not graduate with any student debt from undergrad because I worked. And you know, some of the things that I learned, you know, from them were the discipline to make things to do without, for instance, so that I wouldn't have a lot of debt load and I could, you know, start my dental education. I knew I was going to have to borrow lots of money for that, but you know, it helped me shape who I am. So that'd probably be the event that probably changed me the most.
A lot of questions, but two that stuck out to me from your story just there is, I don't see you as an angry person still. So I know you were channeling your anger, but channeling your anger, and when did you stop just being angry with it? Like that unfairness, like how did you get rid of that anger?
You know, it honestly took me a long time to do that. I had to come to grips. I almost was not accepting of the fact that my father was gone. And so when I got some help and talked to somebody about that is really when I actually could let go of that. But what I did is I turned some of that, until I got help, I turned a lot of that into I was disciplined, I was focused, and nothing was getting in my way. You know, I was going to do that. And it helped me to actually expose my feelings to somebody to let go of that loss of my father so that I could actually be a better person going forward in my marriage and so forth. So, as I look back on my life, I am happy of where I've come from and where I'm at now. And it always hasn't been a straight line, but generally speaking, I would not trade a thing about where I've been because it's gotten me to where I am now. And I
Right.
think while, my path is my path, I think it came out the way it's supposed to. And I'm happy with where I'm at now. And I'm a happy person after having dealt with that. So
I
good
couldn't
question.
agree more on that. My dad lost his dad around the same time, and my dad is one of
Yeah.
12 brothers and sisters. He
Wow.
didn't carry anger with him. I guess at the time, talking to somebody wasn't the cool thing to do, so he just never did
No.
it. But
Yep.
I feel like he carries fear or just fear of the world to this day. He's a really tough and rumble
Right.
guy, but you can tell like he's not going to travel overseas for sure. And so there's some fear, there's some like childlike fear there still. And I think it's rooted around just losing a parent at a young age. And
It's hard to feel secure.
yeah, it's hard to feel secure. So I love
Yeah.
how you did that. And my second follow-up question was, how did you go back to school?
So that's a great question. So as I said, when we lost my dad, we didn't know what was going to happen, and we would never experienced this before. But
Right.
my 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 journey, if you will, I was able to find out that there were things available for all of us, for all three of us to go to school through Social Security benefits
Mm.
and survivor benefits through the military. So he died. Fortunately, when he died, he was on active duty, so that did help us. So I did get some funding to help me go to school, which was great. I still needed to work to kind of supplement that, which I don't mind that, but it was really trying to deal with a mother who did not work outside of the house and trying to find her something to do at the same time trying to figure out my own life, and then trying to
Yes.
make sure that now I've got two younger brothers that look up to me as a role model. And to be, just to kind of fast forward to the end of the story, all three of us graduated from UT,
Wow.
and we're all doing very well now, and not necessarily because of me, but because of us as a family. We
Yeah.
stuck together. My mom was the glue that kind of held us together, and part of it is just her encouragement all along the way, even though we were we didn't have our father there to kind of help us navigate the future. There was nothing that was out of our realm of possibility in her mind. I mean, she encouraged us. We could do whatever we wanted. My brother he became an architect and then ended up flying, special ops mission in the military for 20 years. So, and my other younger brother worked for the state of Texas for a while. So everybody's doing
Wow.
well, and I think a lot of that's a tribute to the values that my mom instilled in us and my dad when he was around. But just taking it and channeling some of that stuff into the right direction was really the way that it got me through. And fair enough, if it hadn't been for Social Security and the survivor benefits, it would have been a lot more difficult. But I still think that we would have gotten there. It just would have been tougher.
And challenges can make or break you. And I know you told us
Absolutely.
before about an experience when you were 16 and your 14-year-old brother, you guys hitchhiked or just gallivanted.
Yes.
Maybe gallivant's an incorrect word. You went on what's it called when you do that walking trip?
It's backpacking?
No.
We
Backpack.
Backpacking, I
Walkabout.
guess. Walkabout. That's the word I'm
Man,
looking for. Walkabout.
So
Yes.
I know you know this, but if your dad were here today, he wouldn't just be proud of you as a leader. He'd be proud of what you got your brothers through.
Yeah.
I
No,
like I'm
I
shocked.
think
That is
so.
insane.
It was a journey, and we had some tough times for sure. And every family has tough times, so that's nothing unique to ours. But I think that
Yeah.
like you said, Bob, I think that your experiences, your past, your challenges make you who you are. And, I've tried to make it a little easier for our kids. And that's very, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But, our kids still have their challenges, just like every other child does, and they've all turned out well. So it's good.
And I think part of what we like to do as a channel is sometimes to talk about challenges or highlight challenges and say,
Sure,
hey, this is what I went through, or what you went through, or what you went through, Craig. And life is not easy a lot of the time, and that's okay. It's not supposed to be this perfect thing where you're happy all the time. That's why I like the term flourishing. Just you kind of have to do okay during the bad times as well as the good times. And you surround yourself with people. You had your mom there to be a cohesive force. You were there as the older brother. You'd already done the walkabout through England and trying to find a place to stay and all this stuff. And so that's the universe taking you on that path.
Yeah, when you talk about you had to grow up and become a man really quick, I mean, like, as I have one brother, and I mean, I don't think I was like that great of a sister because I was just focused on me and running, and I just felt like it wasn't my responsibility to get him to college. It wasn't my responsibility to inspire him other than leading by example. But it just sounds like you just had a crazy challenge that you turned into a beautiful opportunity.
Beautiful opportunity. That's what I was thinking.
That's so impressive.
That is. It is. It's a good way of looking at it, and I can tell you that it seems more of a beautiful opportunity now.
Much of my life has been the exact same way. Yes. Oh, yes. We have an opportunity here.
Oh,
yes.
Man, I love that.
I love hearing that. Well,
that's so cool.
One last question. What question would you like most answered?
What question would I like most answered?
Yes. This is a tough one. I don't know. Life, universe, anything. Do you have?
I guess the question I'd like maybe answered is, when I'm gone, how will I be remembered?
Oh, such
man.
a good
And what
one.
effect did I have on the profession?
Wow.
Because for me, I talk to our kids about this all the time. I think about a lot about when we're not here, and I talk about making memories with our grandkids and so forth. And, when I'm gone, that's what they're going to have. But I think that when I'm gone, if I've made an impact in a positive way that has affected somebody in a positive and has helped them in some way, I'll have done what I set out to do. And while I'm not a person that seeks out recognition, I've never really sought a position. I've always been asked to serve. And I think that's the way it should be. I don't care about receiving the recognition, but I do want to make a difference. And so I guess my legacy, if you would, was I'd like to know how people would view me and what I've done at the end of the day.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's a powerful
That's really powerful.
question. Am I going to get in trouble for asking that question? You're going to go, why
No.
did you ask that question?
Well, what question? First of all,
No,
I needed you to
I'm
use it
gonna
in
pause.
a sentence. I'm like, I don't understand the question.
Well, she does say my Canadian grammar's
What
a little
a-
off. No, I want to make a comment before
Okay,
we
make
go
a
on.
comment. Make a comment.
So I'm going to tell you right now, you've made such an impact.
Oh.
We have personally seen lots of people who reference you constantly, and they're like, well, Dr. Craig Armstrong did this, and then you hear someone else talk about it. And these are leaders. These are people who are serving at events like this T-Moms thing. And so, sometimes people say, oh, I can't wait to get to heaven. Well, heaven's a place on earth. And we're hearing people say those things about you now. So
that's very kind.
I don't know if that gives you solace, but, and I'd tell you the truth. I'd tell you if they were, not saying things too.
Well,
That's how
hopefully I'm
roll.
not going anywhere anytime soon. So I don't want to find out things.
Exactly. And
This
this
is the
international trip, I'm
last.
just tell Lana that.
I heard I've made somewhat of a difference, and that's
but
great.
you really have.
The preview.
And
Dr.
you've done it, and you've
Camerata's
done
gonna
it with
come
such
after you.
humility. Yes, sorry to cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, Dr. Camerata is going to come after you, I think, if that happens. Anything happens to Craig.
Yes, there's people that want me to ensure your safety. So, well, listen, we so appreciate your time. I know you're a busy individual.
Thank you.
We loved hearing
Thank
your
y'all.
story.
This has been a lot of fun, and I would just encourage anybody that's watching this, if you're watching it for some reason, if Steph and Bob, if Steph and Bob ask you to come on, don't be intimidated. It's a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. And if you get a chance to interview them, ask them some hard questions.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Well, listen, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Craig Armstrong, for joining us on this special edition of Between Two Teeth. If you like what we're talking about, please hit the subscribe.
Yep.
Yep.